Our next speaker is going to be one of the farmer advocates. His name is Matt Burkholder. Matt, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Matt. So one of the benefits of coming to this meeting is you'll be receiving a certificate for 2 free Haney soil tests. And Mitchell's going to be talking about that in a little bit, but Matt's going to be one of the local farmer advocate that's really going to help you be able to understand how to collect your sample, to understand how to interpret your test, and also to maybe even work with your current advisor on how to understand that and have it be more of a useful tool. Matt, would you like to come up?
Hello everyone, my name is Matt Burkholder. I'm a 4th generation farmer in Allen County, Ohio. And like it says on my logo, one of our goals is to turn dirt into healthy soil 1 acre at a time. That kind of ties everything in, like all the other farmers have said. You know, we want to be a good steward to our environment. We want to be a blessing to our neighbors by promoting water quality and using less chemicals and herbicides and everything like that. Here's a picture of me and my family. Without their support, it would be pretty hard for me to do some of the, well, I'm the oddball in Allen County, so some of the risky things that the neighbors see. So I appreciate their support. My kids are in and out of the tractor with me a lot, and they just love being with me in the tractor. So today I'm going to talk about my regenerative ag journey on a 30-acre farm that my dad owns. I actually planted my first cover crop in 2009. I bought the seed from 2 local co-ops. It was really dry in the fall. It didn't grow. The next spring we got some warm weather, we got some rain, and the cover crop just took off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this cover crop's 6 feet tall. What do I do? So I called both co-ops, and they both gave me the same answer. I don't know. And I'm like, do you know who you can call? I don't know. So I'm standing out there looking at the field. I had a farmer drive by, and he stopped in, and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to no-till beans into this. He said, I think you need to mow it first and then disc it. And I'm just like, well, based off of the reading I've done in these magazines, I don't think that's a good idea. I said, have you done that before? No, I've never planted a cover crop. Okay, good seeing you. Thank you. I'm not listening to you. Sorry. So we planted the beans. It worked out fine. But needless to say, I took off 2 years of cover crops. I did not plant cover crops for 2 years after that. I needed a little break. Yeah, we got that one. There's supposed to be a picture here. Okay, so then like I said, then I planted the cover crop again in fall of 2011. This is the spring of 2012. That was my first time planting green. That worked really well, and the beans came up fine. The residue seemed to decompose pretty well, so that worked well. But I still was kind of, only going off of the reading material that I had. I didn't really have a farmer advocate to talk to because obviously my 2 co-ops were no help. So in 2016, I met my farmer advocate. His name is Dwight Clary. He's from over by Fostoria, Ohio. He has been involved in regenerative ag for like 40 years. So he has been a very big help to me. We became friends. We're in contact now a couple times a month. And so he was just such a blessing. So, not only, as we promote the Farmer Advocate Program, not only to help each other with regenerative ag practices, we can also build some more friends, make some more friends and help each other out. I might have. So to dig a little deeper on this field with my regenerative ag journey, in 2016, Dwight suggested that I eliminate granular salt-based fertilizer before soybeans and before corn. That has worked well. I still apply salt-based fertilizer before wheat in the fall, so it has a good starter in the fall and can grow well through the winter. In 2018, we had soybeans out there, and I had a bit of a vole issue, and so I talked to my farmer advocate, talked to Dwight, and he suggested that we put up some perches and some houses for kestrel hawk, eastern screech owls, and other beneficials. So here's a picture of the houses and the perches. The perches are nothing special. It's some scrap wood that I had and just made a T and put it on a post that we had there, where the survey mark was. It's nothing special. And the house, that's just scrap wood that we had laying around and had some paint or varnish. So I just put the houses out recently, about a year ago, but the perches have been up for years, and I can see hawks on those perches probably 3 to 4 times a week. And since then, on that particular field, we have not had a vole issue. So if you build the habitat, they will come. Who here remembers the spring of 2019? Yes, it was a major pain. So on this 30-acre field, there's the west side, which is the better part of the field, and there's the east side of the field that has always been the problem child. It's always been at least 10 bushel an acre below county average. So I started planting corn like June 10th, that year. On the west side, worked my way east, got rained out, and I said, forget it, we're not planting any more corn this year. So we had about 7 acres left on that east side. Like I said, that's been the problem child. And I told my farmer advocate, I told Dwight that I didn't get the whole field planted, and he said, well, you need to plant a double crop cover crop. And I said, a what? He said, you need to plant a double crop cover crop. Get a big mixture of warm season, grasses, sorghum, Sudan grass, sun hemp, cowpea, sunflowers. I had everything in the mix, it seemed like. So I planted that, let that grow till about September 1st, ran it down with a tractor and a drill, planted cereal rye, crimson clover, and radish. And I'm looking at the biomass thinking, how in the world is the cereal rye going to grow through that? So that's a picture of it right there. The cereal rye did grow. It grew on that side, and then the other side, after we harvested the corn, we planted that to cereal rye too. Since then, the last 3 years, we have seen quite a yield increase on that side of the farm. And if we have time later, I can go into that a little bit more. But that really paid. That was a game changer. In 2020, on all our soybean acres, I eliminated seed treatments on the soybeans and the wheat. So I started applying the inoculant and living microbes on soybean seed, and then on wheat, I apply Saber-X, which is a powder, kind of like graphite, that you'd put in the drill. I'm not doing the Haney. I've done the Haney test a couple times. I didn't understand it real well, so I need some help with that. So right now we're still doing the grid soil sampling through the co-op, and my limited understanding of that, like I said, I quit applying salt-based fertilizer in like 2015. So based off our soil samples, my nutrient levels have kind of like plateaued, and then just the soil sample that was just done on this farm a year ago, we actually had, in a few spots of the field, the available nutrients actually rose. So we had more available nutrients. And like I said, I cut out the granular fertilizer except for before wheat. Yep, that's kind of what I said. So this picture right here, I had some of my local farmers here when we dug into the soil just a couple weeks ago. The picture on the right is at my dad's farm. That's where we had the double crop, cover crop on that side. So the picture on the right's got some radish in it, and there's some different grasses in there. That has not seen a plow since 2015. Because of the wheat stubble, like you were talking about, we did seed a cover crop with a vertical tillage tool after wheat because of the chaff and the wheat straw like that. But that's the first tillage pass, and that was like an 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep. That's the first tillage pass that's had since 2015. The picture on the left is the neighbor's field. We didn't tell him. We walked right across the grass lane. It looks like a brick. You know, these guys over here, they tried to tear it apart, and they were amazed at how hard it was to tear apart. He tilled his field twice this fall. So even in silty clay loam or Hoytville or Lake Plain, it is possible to slowly change soil structure. And when I show this picture to people that are not involved in agriculture in any way, you know, I ask them, I said, which one do you think the water is going to infiltrate when we have a heavy rain? You know, and some of them have never held soil in their hand, and they're like, they can see that it's pretty obvious. So we can make a change, but it just takes time. And here's a picture of my son. He's 1, and he was in the tractor with me when we were planting in our habitat area. We got a pollinator habitat area, so that's it. Sure.
Twice about stopping salt-based granular fertilizer, and I'm still learning soil amendments like that. So why stop salt-based? Why that?
I'm still learning that too, so that would probably be more of a question for you.
I can go just real quick on it. The big one, I mentioned not using potash on our farm anymore. We've been using potassium sulfate instead. The biggest thing with potash's chemical makeup is potassium chloride. And I'm not a real smart guy, but I know that we use chloride and chlorine to kill microbes, and I'm assuming the same type of thing happens in our soils because microbes are subaquatic, so they live in, on, and around water. They're about 50% water, just like we are. And I'm assuming that all that chloride that we're putting out there probably isn't good for them. Now, I don't have a PhD or a bunch of data to back that up. I'm just assuming, and have seen that our soil health seems to be doing better because of it. But high salts is really, it's just about like the acidity of it and how it's going to react in water. A salt just being that it's going to dissolve in water and the polarization and stuff. But that's just I'm with you that I'm like, I don't really know either, but that seems like it makes sense anyway.
It makes sense to me too. Thank you.
There we go.
Real quick, for any of you who have houseplants and you water with just regular water, you'll see that they are pretty white and too much that salt, and your plants don't like that. It's toxic. So for people who grow near the coast and your salt water, that's one of the biggest things that they have to combat. And so a lot of our fertilizers have salt in them as part of the chemistry. So adding too much of it over too long of a time can increase that salt toxicity.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question, and thank you so much, Matt. Okay, so we're going to move on to our second set of questions. And what I actually would like to do is just have the room be like pretty silent for 2 minutes. So I do want to give people, everyone learns and thinks different. So some people might have the answers to these questions just right on the tip of their tongue, and other people need a few minutes of quiet to think about that. So let's do 2 minutes of silence where you're thinking about, the questions are, what challenges are you having on your farm? How have you received help and advice from other farmers? And share your experience in helping or getting something from a fellow farmer. Those are the farmer questions. The resource professional questions are up here too. Anything to add to that, Ashley?
Yeah, and again, challenges are challenges you're willing to share, or maybe now that you know your group a little bit better, challenges that you are seeking feedback from your group on. Again, we're not looking to solve everybody's problems or issues. It'd take way longer than today to solve all my issues, but what you're willing to share to get that conversation started.